this Friday to answer questions on painting, wallpapering, staining, you name it, home decorating. That'll be this Friday morning on the Art Lewis Show. Welcome to hour number 2, and it's open phones this hour. Whatever you'd like to talk about, 989-752-6111. I'm going to start talking a little baseball. A couple of things. First, the Tigers game last night, and the star of that game, Javier Baez, who is now turning into the baseball player the Tigers all along knew he was. An outstanding, elite center fielder. And what can you say about his hitting prowess? 2 home runs yesterday, a total of 6 RBI. And he's almost shy about it. He's having fun. And it all came about because of arthroscopic hip surgery in 2024, which kept him out of the postseason. But he wasn't doing well. His stats were terrible. And one of the reasons was he was suffering pain and he could not approach batting with the proper swing and the proper weight transfer and all of that, nor could he run around very much. He's a new man now. He never says he's 100%. He says maybe 100%, but I'm close, He's continuing doing the exercises and things needed to strengthen the hip. And the results were phenomenal. That last night's game was, to me, one of the most exciting games to have watched and listened to. The lead changed back and forth several times, and in the 11th inning, when Boston scored 2 runs to take a 9-7 lead, in the old days, I would have said, oh well, the Tigers figured out how to lose a game. But last night I didn't. I sat there last night saying, let's see how they're going to win this game. Sure enough, they end with 2 guys on base. Up comes Javier, and it's a home run. They win 10-9. Just what you expect from a team with the best record in baseball. They're tied with the New York Mets, and they have singularly the best record in the American League. This could be the year of the Tigers, but we don't want to get ahead of ourselves because we're only a quarter of a way through the season. Let's hope they continue the pace. The other thing that I want to touch on is the announcement from Commissioner Rob Manfred that they are removing the ineligibility list names of Major League Baseball players who have passed. And that includes Pete Rose and others. The question now, and it can't happen until, from what I understand, 2028, will Pete Rose make it into the Hall of Fame? In this day and age, as opposed to when he was first removed from baseball, I would think with the amount of gambling going on out there, it would make no sense to keep him out of the Hall of Fame because of it. He needs to go into the Hall of Fame because of his hitting prowess as a player. If in the Hall of Fame they want to put an asterisk and explain his gambling problems, I think that's fine. That's part of his history. It's part of who he was. But in my opinion, and I've always thought this, Pete Rose deserves a place in baseball's Hall of Fame. So we'll see what happens. All right, enough of that. Let's go to the phones and talk to Mike in Thomas Township. Mike, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Art. Looks like another nice day, but a little bit cloudy.
Yeah, well, we can live with it.
listen, I don't know if you've been watching or paying attention to the TV lately, but ICE, and the politicians that are trying to disrupt them. ICE is a legal entity, and these politicians who nobody's above the law. Remember that was coming across. Now all of a sudden they're interfering with them in big time. I mean, pushing them around, trying to get ahead of warning the people that they're after that so that they could try to make a getaway. That judge in the court, that was really something. But
she's been indicted, by the way.
Yes, I know, and they should be. And but a lot of them, I listened to the politicians last night. And a lot of them, we're just doing our civic duty. That's a bunch of BS. And the Democrats have lost their minds in the Senate and in the House. I mean, they have totally gone off the rail. I mean, they're just it's sad to see them doing some of the stuff that they're doing.
Well, let me put it to you this way, Mike. Let me see what you think about this.
Yeah, sure.
They violated the law, and they deserve to be held accountable for it. Was that not also true of the people who stormed the Capitol on January 6th?
Well,
yes or no? Yeah.
Well, no,
and not all of them, but certainly the ones that did damage and violence.
Absolutely, but a lot of them were welcomed in. They had the guards at the door.
Yeah, I understand all that, but I'm talking about the ones that busted things down and all of that stuff.
Sure. No, I agree with you 100%. They should be held accountable because they were damaging things.
You have to have equality if you're going to do this. And I'm fully for them being held responsible. These Democrats, they were wrong, and listen, this is, first of all, this is all a publicity stunt. It's all about getting their faces on TV because otherwise they would have done what normal oversight people would have done. They would have called up and said, hey, we want to come and inspect, and they would have been let in, and they would have seen everything they wanted to see.
Absolutely.
So I just think that this whole thing was staged.
Well, I agree with you on that, and I also agree that they are trying to get publicity, but that isn't good publicity when they're doing that. I don't know.
No, I know that. Yeah, I know that.
Because the average people don't want to see that. They want to see us, get there's pros and cons. You don't have to agree with everything, but at least they could say something without having somebody go crazy.
Yeah.
I watched it. I mean, it was just totally sad to see it happen. I claim to be an independent. I voted for Democrats. I voted for Republicans, and I vote for the person. If it's a good person, I mean, like John F. Kennedy was the first time I was able to vote, and absolutely, I mean, the guy was a great person. I mean, I like what he was doing, and I like what he did after he was elected. But they're not all perfect. I mean, Trump's making some mistakes, but gosh, he's over there, and they're criticizing him for going over to Saudi Arabia because that supposedly the Saudi prince didn't I don't know why I say prosecute the person
all right.
for the assassination, of that news reporter.
All right, Michael.
Okay, hey, take care, my friend. Have a good day now.
You bet. Bye-bye now.
Bye now.
All right, Mark, hang on. We'll get to you after these notes on the Art Lewis Show.
Summer is almost here.
They're just starting.
Yeah. So I don't know if the new shipment has summer bloom, which makes it less expensive. I'm not sure, or if it makes it more expensive.
Yeah, I don't know. Pricing gasoline has always been one of the great mysteries of life.
Yeah. Hey, so yesterday I had a solid no from you on the Statue of Liberty, changing the patina on that.
And the copper, yeah.
What about just the crown? Yeah, what about just doing the crown? You in for that?
No, I like it the way it is. I'm sorry.
All right.
Because the reality is if you did it in a week or two, it'd be right back to it again.
There's not a sealant you can put on that?
Oh, I don't know. There might be, but that to me would ruin the patina. I just like it the way it is. It's the way it's always been.
All right. I'll leave it alone then.
All right, Mark. Thanks. Take care.
All right,
Bye-bye.
have a good one.
And we've got another Mark in Midland. Mark, good morning.
Morning, Art. How are you doing today?
Doing well, thanks.
Hey, I think definitely Pete Rose should go in. I think recently, the last few years, with the sports betting and the casinos getting involved in all the sports, it's ridiculous to let him out. I mean,
Yeah.
I was listening to Dan Patrick interview Johnny Bench right after Pete Rose died, and Dan was kind of saying, yeah, he should be in the Hall of Fame, but he did gamble. And Pete Rose is like, gambling is paying your wages at ESPN right now. I mean, sports talk is all about betting odds and point spreads, and I mean, even the Tigers are run by it.
FanDuel. It's a FanDuel network.
It's. I mean, the guys are betting on the game, and Johnny Bench is like, anybody can affect the game now. A fan can affect it. If he doesn't want the guy to make a free throw, he can stand up and run on the court or something. And
but that's not the same thing. I do say this though. I don't want to see players and management betting on their own games.
I agree. But I think that for what he did, for what Pete Rose did in the game, I think he should be in.
All right, fair enough. I mean, listen, I'm not disagreeing with you. I agree. I've said that all along, so I agree. All right, good enough, Mark. Thanks. Have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye now. And we'll talk to Gene in Bay City. Good morning, Gene.
Hi, good morning. I have to admit I don't really understand completely these Arab countries, but I think what Trump is doing, a lot of it's good to try to have peace in between all of these men. But these men are when you watch everything, I think I watched most of it, you don't see one woman in any of those ceremonies or signings or events.
You have to realize that in those countries, in Saudi Arabia and countries like it, for a long time, women were suppressed. No two ways about it. It was wrong.
They still
Well,
are.
they're doing better. They're attempting to do better. Particularly in the education field and in the work field, they have begun to loosen the binds, so to speak. But they got a long way to go. Make no mistake about it. I'm not disputing that.
They treat their women like they own farm animals or something. You see them in these outfits where the only thing that's visible is their eyes, and if they do something a man doesn't like, they can be beaten or killed, and there's no consequence to the men.
In Saudi Arabia, anyway, they're getting away from that.
Well,
about time.
I realize on the good side that Trump is helping to make peace in between all these different men, but these men are very, very, very dangerous. And people need to keep that in mind when they're watching all this stuff. There's no way on earth that Trump could have brought his wife or the lady that's his personal advisor, that older lady. There is no way Trump could have brought a woman with him. These men are complete dictators, and they're evil people. And I don't know, selling them military equipment, I have my doubts that that's a good thing.
All right.
It's very, very complicated, and I admit I don't understand a lot of it, and I don't think most people understand a lot of it. But people need to keep in mind how dangerous these men are.
Okay. Good enough.
Thank you for listening.
All right, Gene, thanks. Let's talk to Elvin in Saginaw. Good morning. Hello?
This is Alvin.
Yeah.
Am I on?
You're on.
How you doing? Hey, listen, I just wanted to say something. You just had this passing thought about the Tigers. I was telling all my friends last year when the Lions started winning, don't be tentative about the success they're having in the now. When I lived in Boston to join a drum corps North Star, I worked at this place called Automatic Radio, and I got to tell you, it was electric. The fans, the Boston fans.
Yep.
And it just, I think those players, if you go to any of those games, I think they can feel that high expectation and that excitement. I have only felt that in Boston until last year I went to a Lions game. And I think Detroit fans, other than last year's Lions game, I had never felt that at any professional game I ever went to. But last year at the Lions game, it was this energy coming from the stands, going to the field, coming back from the field, back to the stands. That's how it was in Boston. And I think Detroit fans, like you said, we're only a quarter into the season, so don't get too excited. But I think you should.
Let me give you a phrase, Alvin. Let me give you a phrase, Alvin. There's nothing like winning.
Yeah, that's the truth. But even when they would lose, I I remember last year Lions, they went through that little couple games drop thing, and everybody was like, oh, here we go again. But I think you got to keep that energy going, because I think there's this unseen chemistry between fans and players. And I just would love to see that electricity.
Well,
always that way.
In hockey, it's a phrase that the audience is the extra man on the ice.
I believe that.
Yep. True.
So I'm not tentative about the Tigers. I'm excited about them. And when I'm going to a game, and I'm actually looking forward to it, because I know that energy is there. Just like watching it on TV.
Absolutely.
I hope they can maintain that.
I do too.
They're not going to win every game. Nope. So I just think we should stay excited no matter what.
All right. Good enough, buddy.
All right.
Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye now. We'll be back with more.
The Island Resort and Casino.
It talks to you, and you can set the speed of the talk. You can do a bunch of things with this little box, and it doesn't cost a penny. As long as the pharmacy is involved with the company, and there's 3 or 4 of them in the area that will do it. Even the mail order, Optum Rx, will do it.
That's fabulous.
So, yeah. And so with someone like me who can't read the paperwork, I can put that thing there, and I can find out what I need to about that medication.
Excellent.
So,
it's wonderful that there are people out there seeing the need and inventing these kinds of products.
Oh yeah. And you're the fellow that called in while you had your guest and said that the Institute for the Blind was no longer around here. Back in the day, when I graduated from Culinary Arts School in southern Michigan, I had severe vision problems then. I was very myopic, and I had real thick glasses. I came up here looking for a job with the Michigan Institute for the Blind. I figured, well, it's a shoe-in. I got these glasses, Well, I found out, they were looking for a cook. But then they would not hire a man. They wanted a woman for a cook.
What?
Back then. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. So I did end up getting a job somewhere else, but I thought it was a real no-brainer. How come the Michigan Institute for the Blind won't hire a man?
I don't know.
But,
well, we're glad to have the information on the device, though. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you, and thank you for the program this morning.
You're welcome. Thanks. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
And we'll go up to Bay City, talk to Rachel before we take a break here. Rachel, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Art.
Morning.
Hey, I was interested in calling because of Jean's call, and I do agree with her that those are very dangerous men, that whole region of the planet is run by very dangerous men. I mean, there's psychopaths, lunatics, it's terrorists, it's scary, crazy stuff. But keep that in mind, Gene, when we're talking about all these illegal aliens, please, and everyone else listening, that, yes, we don't want that in America. And you know what? It's already happening in America. It's called Sharia law. That is the Muslims' own system of their justice.
Whoa. Just a minute, Rachel.
Uh-huh.
It may be happening in a very isolated conclave in America, but it's not happening in America. You don't live under Sharia law.
No, we don't have to participate in it, but the migrants who have exactly what you just said, formed clusters of areas like we do have in Michigan, a massively huge population of them. In the Detroit, Dearborn, Hamtramck zone, that's why we have a Rashida Tlaib representing us, everyone. But anyhow, yeah, and also a bunch of them are doing this in local places in Texas as well. And Texas, shockingly, is not standing up and having a spine and saying, no, we're not allowing you to do this here. But anyways, yet.
Well,
anyways,
they can do it as long as it doesn't cross our laws. Once it crosses our laws, they can't do it, period.
It does cross our laws.
Well, but they,
it absolutely does.
They still have to follow our laws.
The point is, yes, Gene, I'm glad that you are aware of this. Yes, everyone else, please pay attention. This is not what we want. This is not what we want here. That's what they want. They want to spread it and take over the entire planet. That's what their mission is, literally. And we don't want that here, Gene. So good. I'm glad you brought that up.
Okay.
Right.
Good enough, Rach. Thanks. Bye-bye. All right. Errol and Paul, hang on. We'll get to you after these notes.
We're proud to make
for one final segment here this hour, the Art Lewis Show, and Errol is with us in Saginaw. Errol, good morning.
First of all, thank you for your earlier program with the gentleman in the thing that he's invented
for
blind people. I'm not blind, so thank God for people like that who can do that.
Smart kid,
now,
I'll tell you.
Right. And, when I was on the fire department, I took a little 6-year-old girl out of a fire. And I cried for 6 months. And there was nothing that was portable to teach kids about how to get out of the house if they had a fire. So I designed the thing so that it was portable and it had every kind of window in it. And we taught them about fire safety.
That was the firehouse trailer, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. And now the military's got 3 or 4 of them. About 40 countries now have their own. And I think I didn't do it to make any money, any glory. I did it because of this little girl.
You did it because you saw the need. That's why you did it. Now, the little girl was the inspiration, but you saw the need. And that's how a lot of these things happen.
I never made a nickel out there. That wasn't the idea. But now, getting back to your other topic, why do we think we have the right to tell other parts of the world, Middle East, how they should run their country? Keep our nose the hell out of it. It's not how we run our country, thank goodness, but that's what they choose to do.
Yeah, well,
Stay out of it.
Here's the thing, Errol. In this global world we live in today, we shouldn't be telling them how to live their lives and how to run their country, but we do
exactly right.
We do have to have interplay with them.
I understand that, but no, that's when I was growing up, we had a little box on every desk, and that was money for the poor pagan children in Africa. Okay, now the solution to that place: quit making babies. Then they won't be starving to death.
Yeah.
And that's all I got to say for today,
right,
sir.
buddy.
Go play golf. But talk to you.
Take care, Earl. Bye-bye now. And let's talk to Paul in Saginaw. Paul, good morning.
Morning, Art. Art, one thing that concerns me when Trump and the Republicans deal with these communist countries like China, North Korea, etc., and these Muslim countries like Saudi Arabia, Iran, etc., is that in those countries, they don't allow any Christians to practice their faith, nor do they allow them to build any churches. And we're doing all this business with all these countries, allowing them to own some land here and own some businesses here. But in their countries, they won't allow Christians to build churches or practice their religion.
Well, the only answer is don't buy their products.
Well, that's it.
That's
what I believe. That I believe in boycott. I've said that all my life.
That's the answer. I mean, if you don't like it, don't buy it.
That's true.
But you can't live in isolation. You got to deal with them.
Right. So.
All right.
Well, that's all I got on that.
Good enough.
All
Thanks.
right.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
And our last caller is going to be Russ in Bay City. Good morning, Russ.
Hey, good morning, Art. Well, did you see that Michigan has overturned the 24-hour delay and the informed consent when it comes to abortion in Michigan?
No, I hadn't seen it.
Yep, happened yesterday. I don't understand. I mean, okay, I can understand them not wanting the 24-hour delay. I mean, that's just fewer abortions, and they don't want that. But how can you be against informed consent?
I don't have the answer because I view it like you do. I view it like you do, and so I don't understand that either.
But, I mean, could you maybe get a pro-choice person in the government on your program to explain why they objected to this? So maybe we could understand. Maybe there is an understandable reason for it. I just can't see it.
I can't see it either. But
I would love for someone to try to open my eyes.
Well, I think they're afraid that informed consent will stop it.
Well, absolutely. But they claim to want abortion to be rare. And that's an outright lie. I mean, you can't even justify that lie. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
They want the more the merrier.
Yeah. Well,
and
I will tell you this.
Cuts down those numbers.
I will tell you this. They don't hide their beliefs about it. They don't beat around the bush about it. You know exactly where they stand and who they are. You may not understand why, but at least you know who. And I don't know what else to say about it.
It'd just be nice if they could be openly honest about it.
Well, they are.
We all know what they are.
No, they're openly honest.
On TV, no.
They're openly honest in what they want, and they openly, honestly do what they want. The explanation doesn't follow. That's the problem. Hey, I got to run because I'm out of time, Russ. Talk about it again. Take care. Bye-bye now. And we'll close out after these notes.
How do you say hooray in Spanish?
For the Art Lewis Show for today. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow with lots more, including a visit with Mike Avery from Outdoor Magazine. But before that, news from CBS coming up, and the local report with Michael Percha. Then we're going to learn about faith and family home health coming up on Focus. I'm Art Lewis. We'll talk to you right after the news.
Broadcasting from the